नमस्ते विद्यार्थी मित्रो, या अकॅडमीसाठी मी पुन्हा 11th स्टँडर्ड मॅथमॅटिक्स M1 आणि M2 साठी रेग्युलरली व्हिडिओ अपलोड करणार आहे. 11th स्टँडर्ड साठी सायमल्टेनियसली आय विल ऑल्सो अपलोड द व्हिडिओज ऑन M1 and M2 for the 12th standard. Simultaneously, I am also uploading the videos for the NCERT curriculum, that is the CBSE board 11th and the 12th standards. Okay. म्हणून जे विद्यार्थी CET as well as JEE साठी प्रिपरेशन करतील त्यांना निश्चितच त्याचा उपयोग होईल. Simultaneously, I am also uploading the videos from the commerce branch mathematics. आणि जर समजा तुम्हाला या सायन्सचं मॅथमॅटिक्स जर अवघड जात असेल तर तुम्ही आधी कॉमर्स ब्रँचचे हेच सिमिलर चॅप्टर्स आहेत, त्यांच्याकडे देखील सायन्सचे जे चॅप्टर्स आहेत तेच आहेत, ते पण तुम्ही बघू शकता आणि त्यांची डिफिकल्टी लेवल थोडी कमी आहे आणि तुम्ही नंतर या हायर डिफिकल्टी लेवलकडे येऊ शकता. मी या सर्वच माझ्या या व्हिडिओमध्ये I will explain in a very simple language. First of all the basic information, then all solved examples, and then all examples from the exercise. Now let us start today first chapter, that is a complex number. Up to the 9th standard you have learned that is the real numbers. Now there is one more biggest set and that set is a complex number. Okay, in this chapter you will learn, या chapter मध्ये तुम्ही काय काय बघणार आहे. Take a complex number. Which number we will call that complex number? Algebra of complex number means what? Addition, subtraction, multiplication and the division. Geometrical representation of a complex number. Okay, polar and exponential form of complex number, and lastly the de Moivre's theorem. Now let's recall. Algebra of real number. You know the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division for the algebra for the real numbers. Okay. Next, solution of linear and the quadratic equation that you have learned in the 10th standard. Representation of real number on the number line you have learned in the 9th standard also. Representation of point in plane in the coordinates geometry you have learned in the 10th and the 9th also. And the trigonometric ratios from the 9th and the 10th standard. Okay. This is your previous knowledge. Now, introduction. What is meant by the complex number? How the complex number generated? Complex number कसा generate झालाय? Consider the equation x square plus 1 is equals to 0. This equation has no solution in the set of real numbers. Yes, याला solution नाही. How it is? Which is number whose square is minus 1? Here's the equation मला जर satisfy करायचं असेल. Then which is the real number whose square is a minus number? This is not possible. Okay. If we take minus 1, its square, it's a positive. Okay, if we take x is equals to 1, again its a square is a positive. Therefore, x square plus 1 has no solution for the real number whose square is minus 1. We need to extend the set of real number to again a larger set. आपण जो set of real number हा learn केलेला आहे. यामध्ये काय होतं की set of natural number, whole number, integers, rational number या types. Okay, now we need to extend set of real number to a larger set, which would include solutions of such equations. Okay, we introduce for that आपण एक नवीन number, नवीन symbol इथे introduce करणार. We introduce a symbol I, okay, Greek letter iota, such that I is equals to root of minus 1. And what about the I square? I square is a minus 1. I is called an imaginary unit or imaginary number. Swiss mathematician Leonhard Euler was the first mathematician who introduced the symbol I with I is equals to root of minus 1. And if we take the squaring on both sides, then you will get I square is equals to minus 1. Now see this here. What is meant by the complex number? Imaginary number, a number of the form b into I. But what about the b? B काय असेल? B is a set of real number. B belongs to set of real number and b is not equals to 0. I is equals to root of minus 1 is called an imaginary number. Okay. Root of minus 25, that is equals to 5i. How it is? I can write here like this. Minus 25. Okay. This can be written as 25 into minus 1. Again, it can be written as 25 minus 1 means what? It is a I square. If you take its a square root, then you are getting 5i. Next to I, 2 by 7i minus 11i and the etc. Okay. Next, the number I satisfies following properties. I into 0 is 0. A belongs to set of real number and root of minus a square. Again, a square root of minus a square means what? Minus 1 into a square. But minus 1 means what? This is the I square. If we take its square root, then you will get plus or minus IA. If a comma b belongs to set of real number and ai is equals to bi, if this happens, जर हे दोन्ही बरोबर असतील, it's a clear that a and b, these two real numbers must be same. Okay. Complex number. It's a definition. A number of the form a plus ib where a comma b belongs to set of real number and I is equals to in root of minus 1 with I square is a minus 1 is called complex number and it usually denoted by z. That is a z is equals to, we can write it is a complex number r, usually denoted by z is equals to a plus ib. Okay, where a and b belongs to set of real number and I is equals to a root of minus 1. This is the number. Now next, that is z is equals to a plus ib, a comma b belongs to set of real number and I is equals to a root of minus 1. Then here, see this here, what about the a? A is called a real part of z. Z is a complex number, मग त्याचा real part कुठला? It is the a and it is denoted by real part of z or r of z. What about the b? ज्याला I ने मल्टिप्लाइड असेल त्याला इमेजनरी पार्ट असं कन्सिडर करायचं आहे. B is called the imaginary part of z and it is denoted by imaginary z or iz. The set of complex number is denoted by capital C. Okay, C is equals to in curly bracket a plus ib such that a comma b belongs to set of real number and I is equals to in root of minus 1. This is the set of the complex number. It is denoted like this. Okay. Now the next, the examples of the complex number z in the form a plus ib, real part of that complex number and imaginary part of that complex number. Suppose that we have the complex number 2 plus 4i. मग तो या फॉर्म मध्ये आपण लिहिणार a plus ib. Okay, the first is real part, second is imaginary part. Therefore, it is written as 2 plus 4i. What about here real part? It's a 2. What about the imaginary part? ज्याला I ने multiplied केलेले आहे, those numbers which are multiplied with the I, they are called the imaginary part. And this is the 4. Imaginary number is here 4. Next, again the second complex number z is equals to 5i. But here, what about the real number? इथे आहे का? नाही. Therefore, we can write is 0 plus 5i. What about a here? A is equals to 0. What about the b? B is equals to 5. Next complex number z is equals to 3 minus 4i. Okay. Again, it is written as in the form a plus ib. Here a is a 3, b is a minus 4. See this here. Real part is 3. Imaginary part is minus 4. Next, z is equals to 5 plus in root of minus 16. तुम्ही म्हणाल की इथे कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर नाही आहे. But we can write this as, okay, root of minus 16. See this here. Root of minus 16 means what? Here, in root of 16 into minus 1. Okay. And in root of, here is a 16 and root of minus 1 means what? I square. If we take their square root of these two, then you will get 4i. Therefore, 5 plus root of minus 16 is nothing but the 4i. Okay, therefore, in this complex number, what is that real part is 5 and the imaginary part is 4. Imaginary number is 4 here. Next, 5 plus root 5I. Again, the real part is 2 and the imaginary part is 5. Next number, 7 plus root 3. Okay, here is no I. Therefore, the number is 7 plus root 3 plus 0I. And hence, here a real part is 7 plus root 3 and imaginary part is 0. In this way, these are the examples of complex number in the form z is equals to a plus ib and their real and imaginary part. Okay, note a complex number whose real part is 0, असा complex number की ज्याचा real part 0 असेल, then it is called the purely imaginary number, such that such a number is of the form z is equals to 0 plus ib. Real part इथे काय तर 0 आहे, therefore z is equals to ib. A complex number whose imaginary part is 0 is only the real number, that is z is equals to a plus ib. Okay, sorry, a plus 0i. मग हा total complex part त्याचा काय होणार तर 0 होणार. You will get a, which is the real number. A complex number whose both real and the imaginary parts are 0 is the 0. Okay, that is complex number. 0 is equals to 0 plus 0i. It's a number 0 only. Okay, the set capital R of real numbers is subset of complex numbers. Okay, it is a subset. R is a subset of the complex number. आणि यापूर्वी तुम्ही जे काही लर्न केलेलं आहे, then it is again Q is a subset of these numbers and the set of integers is a subset, then the set of whole number and the lastly here the set of natural number. The sequence is like this. The real part and the imaginary part cannot be combined to form single number. हे आपण असं लिहिणार नाही कधी 2 plus 3 आहे म्हणजे काय 5 आहे नाही. This is the different part which is the imaginary. This is the real part. We cannot add this type of addition. We can't do. Okay. Next, algebra of complex number. What is meant by the algebra of complex? Just we have learned the algebra of real numbers means what? Addition, subtraction, multiplication and the division. Similarly here the algebra of complex number. Equality first, the equality of the two complex numbers. When the two complex numbers are said to be equal, two complex numbers z1 is equals to a plus ib and z2 is equals to c plus id are said to be equal if their corresponding real means what? A is equals to C and B is equals to D. Imaginary parts, real and the imaginary parts are equal. Then the two complex numbers are said to be equal. Okay. Here A plus IB is equals to C plus ID. Then A is equals to C and B is equals to D. Now the sum example. If X plus IY is equals to 4 plus 3I. Here x is equals to 4 and y is equals to 3. Next, if 7a plus I in bracket 3a minus b is equals to 21 minus 3i, then find a and b. Okay. Now, as these two sides are equal, therefore we will equate real and imaginary part. Okay. Now see this here. This is the 7a. 7a, this is the real part from the left hand side. Real part from the right hand side, and therefore 7 is equals to 21 by equality of complex number, and therefore a is equals to 21 upon 7. We will get a is equals to 3. What about the imaginary part? 3a minus b. Next, equate the imaginary part. 3a minus b is equals to minus 3. We know the value of a. A is 3. 3 into 3. Okay. 3 into 3, that will be the 9. Then transfer this minus b to the right hand side and minus 3 to the left hand side. That will become plus. That is a 9 plus 3, b is equals to 12 in this way. Okay, you can see this. Okay, now the next. Conjugate of complex number. तुम्ही 9th standard मध्ये जेव्हा surd learn केला तेव्हा त्याचा conjugate part learn केलेला आहे. Similarly, here is also conjugate part. The conjugate of complex number z is equals to a plus ib is defined as a minus ib. and is denoted by z bar. एखाद्या कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबरचा कॉन्जुगेट जर पार्ट आपल्याला तयार करायचा आहे, इफ द z इज इक्वल्स टू मायनस a मायनस आय बी असेल तर त्याचा कॉन्जुगेट किती असणार आहे, a प्लस आय बी. मीन्स वॉट, या दोघांचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन केल्यानंतर दॅट्स यू विल गेट दी रियल नंबर. ओके, नाउ चेंज द sign of this imaginary part, then you will get the its a conjugate part. Okay, त्या imaginary नंबरचा जर तुम्ही साइन चेंज केलं, then you will get the conjugate of that complex number and it is denoted by z bar. Now see this here, z हे complex number आहे, हे त्यांचे conjugate आहे. 3 plus 4y, change the sign of 4y, it's a imaginary part. 3 minus 4y, it's a conjugate. 7i minus 2, पुन्हा इथे 7i चं साइन चेंज करणार फक्त, minus 7i, keep this as it is. 3 3, it is a real number. 5i minus 5i, 2 plus root 3 हा real number है, keep it as it is. 7 plus root 5i, change the sign of this imaginary part, that is 7 minus root 5i. These are the complex number. आता हे बघा 3 and these are the real numbers, keep it as it is. Okay, now the next properties of z bar. See this here, if I take the complex number z and मी जर त्याचा काय पाहिजे फाइंड आउट केला तर conjugate find out केला, it is like this. And again I find out the conjugate of this number, then I will get the original number. Therefore the conjugate of conjugate is the original number z. If z is equals to z bar, then z is a purely real number. का की त्याच्यामध्ये imaginary numberच नाही असणार आहे. Okay, z is equals to z bar, there is no imaginary number, that is a z is a purely real number. And next, z is equals to minus z bar, then z is a purely imaginary number if they are the equal. Okay, now we define the 4 fundamental operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division of a complex number. हे फंडामेंटल ऑपरेशन आहे. जसं रिअल नंबरच्या बाबतीत पण ऍडिशन, सबट्रॅक्शन, मल्टिप्लिकेशन, डिव्हिजन बघतो, तसं कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबरच्या बाबतीत देखील ते अतिशय इझी आहे. ऍडिशन ऑफ द कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर, z1 is equals to a plus ib and z2 is equals to c plus id. These are the two complex number. Then what about the z1 plus z2 is equals to a plus ib, first complex number, plus second complex number c plus id. Therefore z1 plus z2 is equals to real part a, real part a, add it, plus imaginary part ib, imaginary part id, add it, take the common I as a common. Therefore z1 plus z2 is equals to in bracket a plus b, real part ची addition करणार plus imaginary part ची addition करणार, that into I. Okay, in other words, real part of z1 plus z2 is nothing but real part of z1 plus real part of z2, and imaginary part of z1 plus z2 is nothing but imaginary part of z1 plus imaginary part of z2. See this one more example, 2 plus 3i plus 4 plus 3i, and this equals to real part is 2 and 4 addition, 2 plus 4, that is a 6. Imaginary part 3i 3i, okay, 3 plus 3, that is a 6i, and this is the addition of the two complex number. रिअल पार्टची ऍडिशन करायची, नंतर इमॅजिनरी पार्टची ऍडिशन करायची. नेक्स्ट अजून एक सिम्प्लिफिकेशन, -2 plus 5i plus 7 plus 3i plus 6 minus 4i. ओके, आता 3 नंबर्स कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर घेतले, नो प्रॉब्लेम. दी कलेक्ट हियर रियल नंबर्स ओनली. -2 plus 7 plus 6, -2 plus 7 plus 6. In next bracket, 5i plus 3i minus 4, 5 plus 3 minus 4, bracket complete into I. Okay, आणि मग नंतर ही ऍडिशन करायची. What is that addition? That is 7 plus 6, then you will get 13. 13 minus 2, 11. Okay, and what about this? 5 plus 3, 8. 8 minus 4, again you will get 4, and this is the addition of these three complex numbers. Okay, now properties of addition. Okay, z1, z2, z3 are the complex number. मग काय ऍडिशनच्या प्रॉपर्टीज काय असतात ते कॉम्युटेटिव्ह. मीन्स व्हॉट, z1 मध्ये z2 मिळवा किंवा z2 मध्ये z1 मिळवा, इट डझंट इफेक्ट. देअरफॉर इट इज कॉल्ड दी commutative, additive commutative. Okay. Z1 plus in bracket Z2 plus Z3 असं करा किंवा Z1 मध्ये Z2 मिळवल्यानंतर Z3 add करा. Then it is called the associative property. It doesn't affect. Next, identity property means what? Additive identity. Which is the additive identity? Just like the 5 plus 0. Okay, 5 plus 0 and that is equals to 5. Therefore, 0 is the additive identity. Okay. That similarly, Z1 plus 0, 0 plus Z1 and that is equals to Z1. या नंबर मध्ये कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर मध्ये काही फरक पडला का? 0 ऍड केल्यानंतर इट डझंट इफेक्ट. नेक्स्ट, Z प्लस Z बार that is nothing but the real part of Z. तो म्हणतो तिथे व्हेरीफाय करा. ओके, नो प्रॉब्लेम. Suppose that Z is equals to, this is a complex number, X plus IY. Okay. And what about the Z bar? If Z bar is equals to, it's a conjugate, X minus IY. And if we add these two, this imaginary part will get cancelled. X plus X, that is a 2X, means what? A real part of Z. And similarly here, Z1 plus Z2, दोन्ही add करायचे आणि त्यांचा conjugate घ्यायचा. That is nothing but the Z1 bar plus Z2 bar. You can also verify this. Okay. Now the next. Addition बघितलं आपण. Next, the scalar multiplication. Means what? कुठलाही नंबर घ्यायचा कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर, त्याला 2, 3, -7, -5/3 या नंबरने मल्टिप्लिकेशन करायचं. Therefore, it is called the scalar multiplication. If Z is equals to A plus IB is any complex number, then for every real number K, we define K into Z is equals to K plus I in bracket KB. म्हणजे काय? Z is any complex number, याला K ने मल्टिप्लाय करणार, याला K ने मल्टिप्लाय करणार. Okay, this is the scalar multiplication. Now here, if the Z is equals to 7 plus 3i, then if I multiply this number with 5, then I will get 5Z is equals to 5 in bracket 7 plus 3i. या 5 ने 7 ला मल्टिप्लाय करायचं, 5 ने 3 ला मल्टिप्लाय करणार. Then here you will get 35 and here 3 into 5, that is a 15. Okay. Next, Z1 is equals to 3 minus 4i and Z2 is equals to 10 minus 9i. Then what is it? मग त्याने एक एक्सप्रेशन दिले. What is that? 2Z1 plus 5Z2. No problem. 2 times Z1, इथे Z1 घेतलेला आहे, plus 5 times Z2, इथे Z2 घेतलेला आहे. Simple multiplication, 2 into 3, 6, 4 into minus 2, that is 8, 5 into 10, 50, 5 into minus 9, minus 45i. Normal addition, real parts addition करना, 6 plus 50, 56, minus 8, minus 45, you will get minus 53i in this way. Okay. Now the next. Upon addition बघितले, addition of the complex number, multiplication with the scalar number, with the complex number. Now the subtraction of the complex number. Z1 is equals to A plus IB, Z2 is equals to C plus ID. Then define Z1 minus Z2. Okay. Z1 plus I time minus 1 into Z2. Okay. या प्रकारे देखील आपण असं लिहू शकतो ते. Therefore, the first complex number is A plus IB plus minus 1 into C plus ID. Open the bracket. Minus 1 into C, minus C, minus 1 into ID, minus ID. Next, collect the real part. A minus C. This is the first. IB minus ID. Take I as a common. Then in bracket you will get B minus D. And hence, again, the real part of Z1 minus Z2 is nothing but the real part of Z1 minus real part of Z2. Next, पुन्हा imaginary part of Z1 minus Z2 म्हणजे काय? की imaginary part of Z1 मधनं imaginary part of the Z2 minus करायचं. Therefore, Z1 imaginary part of Z1 minus Z2 is nothing but imaginary part of Z1 minus imaginary part of Z2. Okay. Now see this one more example. Z1 is equals to 4 plus 3i and Z2 is equals to 2 plus i. या दोघांचं subtraction. Z1 minus Z2 is equals to in bracket 4 plus 3i minus in bracket 2 plus I. Now collect the real parts first. 4 minus 2. Here is a 4 minus 2. 3i minus 3i and I. Take the I as a common. Then in bracket you will get 3 minus 1. bracket complete into I. 4 minus 2, you will get here 2. 3 minus 1, again you are getting the 2. Therefore, Z1 minus Z2, that is equals to 2 plus 2I. Next, Z1 is equals to 7 plus I. Z2 is equals to 4I. Z3 is equals to minus 3 plus 2I. त्याने आपल्याला असं एक्सप्रेशन तयार करायला find out the value of this type of the expression. What is that expression? 2 times Z1 minus in bracket 5 times Z2 plus 2 times Z3. No problem. Substitute the values here. 2 in bracket 7 plus I minus in square bracket 5. What about the Z2? Z2 is 4I plus 2 times Z3 minus 3 plus 2I. Next simplification. 2 into 7, 14. 2 into I, 2I. Minus 5 into 4, 20I. Minus 6, 2 into 2, 4I. Again simplification. 14 plus 2I minus in bracket. Okay. आता इथे बघा. Minus 6 real part आहे. 20I plus 4I. You will get 24I. Next simplification. 14 plus 2I. Again, open the bracket. As there is a minus sign outside the bracket, the sign will change. Minus, that will become plus, plus will become minus. Again, collect the real numbers. 14 plus 6, you will get 20. 6 minus 24 and 2I minus 24I, you will get minus 22I. And hence, this value for this expression when Z1, Z2, Z3 are given. Next, properties of subtraction. It's clear that Z minus Z bar, and that is nothing but 2 times imaginary part of Z1. You can also verify here. X is equals to X plus, Z is equals to X plus IY, Z bar is equals to X minus IY, and then their subtraction, you will get 2 times imaginary part of the Z. Okay. Similar here, Z1 minus Z2, its a conjugate is nothing but the conjugate of Z1 minus conjugate of Z2. Okay. Multiplication of complex number. Again, this is very important. Z1 is equals to A plus IB. Z2 is equals to C plus ID. Then we do note the multiplication of Z1 and Z2 add Z1 dot Z2. It is denoted by like this. We make a dot. Upon multiplication sign nahi karte the. We denote here the dot. Okay. Z1 dot Z2 is equals to in bracket A plus IB dot C plus ID. नॉर्मल मल्टिप्लिकेशन या ए ने या सगळ्या ब्रॅकेटला मल्टिप्लाय करणार या आय बी ने या सगळ्या ब्रॅकेटला सी प्लस आय डी ला मल्टिप्लाय करणार नेहमीच प्रमाणे ए इंटू सी यू आर गेटिंग ए सी ए इंटू आय डी मीन्स व्हॉट ए डी आय बी इंटू सी आय बी सी आय बी इंटू आय डी मीन्स व्हॉट हियर आय स्क्वेअर अँड बी डी हियर बट व्हॉट इज आय स्क्वेअर इज -1 therefore it's a minus bd. आता इथे बघा ADI, BCI, we can take I as a common and here AC. Now collect the real part. AC minus BD, this is the real part and this is the imaginary part and hence Z1 into Z2 is equals to in bracket AC minus BD plus AD plus BC bracket complete into I. Next, for example, Z1 is equals to 2 plus 3I, Z2 is equals to 3 minus 2I. Now their multiplication Z1 into Z2. नेहमीप्रमाणे दोन ब्रॅकेटचं multiplication. There is a 2 in bracket 3 minus 2I plus 3I into 3 minus 2I. 2 into 3 you are getting 6. 2 into minus 2I minus 4I. 3I into 3 that is a 9I. 3I into minus 2I you are getting minus 6I square. But what about the I square? I square is a -1 and that minus and minus that will become plus. Okay, here is a 6 minus 4I plus 9I. Okay, here you will get 5I. 9 plus 6. Okay, sorry, here 6 plus 6 you are getting the 12 minus 4I plus 9I you are getting the 5I. In this way, we can perform the multiplication of the two complex number. Z1 is equals to, next example, Z1 is equals to 2 minus 7I, Z2 is equals to 4 minus 3I, Z3 is equals to 1 plus I. Then, what is that multiplication? 2Z1 dot Z1 dot Z3. Okay, या तिन्ही कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबरचं डायरेक्ट मल्टिप्लिकेशन but first has multiplied with the 2. Therefore 2 in bracket 2 minus 7i into 4 minus 3i into 1 plus I. आता first of all 2 will multiplication of these two with this complex number. 2 into 2 4, 2 into 7 49 into the multiplication of these two complex. 4 into 1 you are getting 4, 4 into I 4i, minus 3i into 1 that is minus 3i, minus 3i into I, then you will get minus 3i square. Again I square means what? Minus 1, minus 1 into minus 3 you are getting the 3, 3 plus 4 it is 7 आला बघा. Okay, I square means minus 1. Minus 1 into minus 3, that will become plus 3. Plus 3 plus 4, 7. 4i minus 3i, you are getting here I. Next multiplication. या 4 ने 7 plus I ला multiply करना. That is a 4 into 7, 28. 4 into I, 4i. Minus 49 into 7, minus 98i. Minus 49 into plus I, minus 14 I square. Again I square is a minus 1. And again this minus and minus that will become plus. म्हणजे इथे किती मिळेल तुम्हाला? 14 number and 28. Their addition is a 42. Next 4i minus 98i. Okay. A plus a minus a, then you are getting minus 94i. And hence 2 times z1 dot z2 dot z3, and that's equals to 42 minus 94i. Okay. Now what are the properties of multiplication then? First the commutative, that is z1 into z2 is equals to z2 into z1. तुम्ही z1 आधी घ्या किंवा z2 नंतर घ्या, you are getting the same answer. Next z1 dot z2 into z3, you can get z1 dot in bracket z2 dot z3. या दोघांच्या मल्टिप्लिकेशनला z3 ने मल्टिप्लाइड करा किंवा या दोघांच्या मल्टिप्लिकेशनला z1 ने मल्टिप्लिकेशन करा. Both have the same value. Therefore its holds associative with the multiplication. Identity का element है? Multiplicative identity. This is called the multiplicative identity. 0 कसा होता तर additive identity होता. 0 त्यात मिळवल्यानंतर त्या कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर मध्ये काहीच फरक पडत नव्हता. तसंच this 1 is called the multiplicative identity. z1 into 1, 1 into z1, and that is equals to z1. Next in bracket z1 dot z2 is equals to z1 bar dot z2 bar. You can verify this. Next, what is here? Z is equals to a plus ib. Then z dot z bar, that is equals to a square plus b square. Now I will show this. See this here, the complex number. Okay, here is a plus ib. असा असेल. What about it's a conjugate? It's a conjugate is a minus ib. Now their multiplication. Z dot z bar is equals to a plus ib. This is the first one, and the second is a minus ib. Now their multiplication. What is the formula? A minus b, okay, into a plus b into a minus b. Then what is that formula? तो formula काय? तर a square minus b square means what? I b, it's a bracket square. What is here? A square minus, here is a I square into b square. But what about the I square? I square is a minus 1, and this minus that will become plus, and hence you are getting a square plus b square, and therefore z dot z bar is equals to a square plus b square, and hence. Okay. Now the next powers of I. मग I च्या powers इथे consider केलेला आहे. Root of minus 1 is I. Then I square is a minus 1. Squaring on both sides. What about the I cube? जर मी इथे I cube असं लिहिला की त्याचं powers कसे असणार आहे? I square can be written as I square into I. But what about the I square? I square is a minus 1. Minus 1 into I, that is minus I. Okay. Therefore I cube, जेव्हा जेव्हा I cube येणार त्याची व्हॅल्यू आपण काय ट्रीट करणार? मग I ट्रीट करणार. What about the I raised to 4? This I raised to 4 can be written as I square and it's a whole square. Means what? Minus 1 and it's a bracket square. Then you will get plus 1. Therefore I raised to 4 is nothing but the 1. Where n is a next, let us consider the I raised to 4 where n is a greater than this 4. Okay. Now divide this n by 4, we obtain the remainder. Okay. Suppose if we take n is equals to 25. Okay. n is equals to 25. आणि मी काय करणार या 25 ला 4 ने डिवाइड करणार. Okay. Suppose that I want to find out the value of I raised to 25. Then I can write here, it's like this. If I divide this I raised to 25 by 4, मग कुठलं डिव्हिजन जाईल त्याला? It's a division is a I raised to 4 and bracket raised to 6. That is 6 into 4, 24. मग किती रिमाइंडर राहिला? एक रिमाइंडर. Only the I means what? I raised to 1. This is I. And suppose that I want to find out the value of I raised to 25. Then what about the I raised to 4? I raised to 4 is 1. 1 raised to 6 is again 1. And therefore its a value is I. Therefore I raised to 25 is only I. मग मला कुठलाही नंबरची ती फाइंड आउट करता येणार आहे I raised to 4. Suppose that I raised to 99. Again I raised to 99 can be written as, again I will write here first of all here 4. Okay. Now divide this 99 by 4. Okay. 4 2s are, here you will get 8. Again 1 will be the remainder. Again there will be the 19. Okay. And 4 4s are 16. Okay. 24. And what is again remainder? The remainder is a 3. Okay. 24 into 4, that is a 96. Again, what remainder? 3 is remaining. Therefore, this is the I raised to 3. But what about the I raised to 4? Is 1. 1 raised to 24 is again 1. I cube. I cube means what? We have find out its value. I cube is minus I. And this is the minus I. And this is 1. 1 into, in bracket, minus I. And overall, you will get minus I. The value of I raised to 99. In a similar way here, that is the quotient is m. If you divide this n by 4, remainder is r, quotient is m, then n can be written as 4m plus r. Just like here, 99 can be written as, here is a 4 into 24 plus 3, like this. Okay. And therefore I raised to n is equals to 4m plus r, and it is written as I raised to 4m dot I raised to r. But I raised to 4m can be written as I raised to 4 bracket raised to m. Okay. Similarly here, I raised to 4 bracket raised to m. But what about the I raised to 4 is 1. 1 raised to m is again 1. And its value is nothing but I raised to r. म्हणजे हा जो काही मोठा नंबर असेल तो आपण अतिशय छोट्या नंबर मध्ये ते कन्वर्ट करता येईल. Its values lies between, या r चे व्हॅल्यूज कशा आहेत? Their values lies between 0 to 4 and not 4. म्हणजे काय असणार आहे? एक तर 0 असणार आहे, 1 2 3, and we know their value. I raised to 3 means what? Minus I. Okay, I square is a minus 1 and I is I. Okay. Similarly here, I raised to 4i is 1. If I take their reciprocal, that their sign will be the minus. Okay. हे दोन्ही डिफरंट आहे. ते कॉमन पाहिजे. Okay. I raised to 4m is 1. 1 upon I raised to 4m is equals to I raised to minus 4m. And hence I square is minus 1. I cube is I into I square. I square is minus 1. Minus 1 into I. It's a minus I. I raised to minus 1 can be written as 1 upon I. Okay. And next is simplification. What about the इथे किती आला? 1 upon I. Right here. See this here. I raised to minus 1. It can be written as 1 upon I. Multiply this numerator and denominator by I. Then you will get I into I square. But the I square is minus 1. and therefore this is minus 1. You are getting I raised to minus 1 is minus I. I raised to minus 1 is equals to minus I. What about I raised to 40? I raised to 40 can be written as I raised to 4 into 12. 4 into 12, 48. किती राहिले तर 2 राहिले. I square. I raised to 4 means what? 1. 1 raised to 12. You are getting 1 again. 1 into I square. That is I square. But what about the I square? Is minus 1. I raised to 318. Again it can be written as divide the 318 by 4. Then you are getting the quotient as a 79. Therefore I raised to 4 into 79. What is the remainder? Remainder is 2. That is the I square. But what is the value of this? This is the 1. 1 into I square. I square. I square is minus 1 in this way. I raised to 999. Again it can be written as that I raised to 4, and if we divide 999 by 4, the quotient is 249. But I raised to 4 is 1. 1 raised to 249 is again 1. Okay. Again here I raised to 3. But what about the I raised to 3? The value of this is 1. I raised to 3. I raised to 3 is again minus I in this way. Now next is remark. In general, I raised to 4n is 1. कुठलाही नंबर असेल आणि आपण जर तो 4 into त्यामध्ये एक्सप्रेस केला, its value is 1. I raised to 4n plus 1 असेल, then you are getting I. I raised to 4n plus 2 असेल, means you are getting I square. Its value is minus 1. And what about the I raised to 4n plus 3? Lastly you are getting I cube, and the value of I cube is minus I in this way. आणि सगळ्यात important आहे, values तुम्हाला find out करायचं असेल तर. Okay. Now the next. Division of complex numbers. सगळ्यात important. Z1 is equals to A plus IB. Z2 is equals to C plus ID. Be any two complex numbers such that Z2 is not equals to 0. Now Z1 upon Z2 is equals to A plus IB upon C plus ID, where Z2 is not equals to 0. That is C plus ID not equals to 0. Denominator 0 नको पाहिजे, नाहीतर मग त्या नंबर मध्ये अर्थच नाही. Multiply the divide by the conjugate of Z2. Z1 upon Z2 is equals to A plus IB upon C plus ID into याच्या conjugate ने numeratorला आणि denominatorला multiply करणार. Therefore, in bracket A plus IB upon C plus ID into C minus ID upon here C into C minus ID प्रत्येकदा याच्या conjugate ने घ्यायचं C plus ID multiplied with this. Then you are getting the easy the division. Okay. Next multiplication. C A plus IB into C minus ID. Here multiplication. What is that? You are getting AC first of all. Next multiplication. IB ने या ID ला multiply करना. You are getting minus I square BD. I square is minus I square BD means what? I square is minus 1. That minus and minus that will become plus. And hence you are getting here BD. In bracket AC plus BD. This is the first one. Plus. Next imaginary part म्हणजे काय? A into minus ID. You are getting minus ID minus AD. नंतर BC into C. Sorry, IB into C. You are getting the IBC. Take I as common. Therefore, in second bracket, imaginary part काय असेल? BC minus AD bracket complete into I. The multiplication of these two brackets. What about here? इथे मात्र plus मिळणार आहे. A plus B, A minus B. Then here you are getting the C square minus I square and D square. But what about the I square? Is minus 1. This minus and minus that will become plus. That is nothing but the C square plus D square. Okay. Separate these. Z1 upon Z2 is equals to AC plus BD upon C square plus D square plus. Next. And hence here Z1 upon Z2 is equals to AC plus BD upon C square plus D square plus BC minus AD upon C square plus D square into I. Both these numbers belong to set of real number. Okay. Next, the illustration. Z1 is equals to 3 plus 2I. Z2 is equals to 1 plus I. Now their division. Z1 upon Z2 is equals to 3 plus 2I upon 1 plus I. What about the Z bar? It's a conjugate. Change the sign of imaginary part. Okay. 1 minus I. आणि मग त्याने त्या न्यूमरेटर युनिटला मल्टिप्लाय करणार. Okay. 3 plus 2i upon 1 plus I into 1 minus I into again denominator 1 minus I. Multiplication 3 into 1, this here 3. 3 into minus I minus 3i. 2i into 1, here is a 2i. 2i into minus I minus 2i square. Okay. Now this is a plus b, a minus b. Then you are getting a square minus b square. Means what? 1 square minus I square. But I square is minus 1. Therefore 1 minus in bracket minus 1. 1 plus 1 and hence you are getting 2. Therefore it is a 1 plus 1. Next simple is minus 3i plus 2i. You are getting the I. Minus 2i square. I square is minus 1. And this minus 1 and minus 2 that will become plus 2. 2 plus 3 that is a 5. 5 minus I upon 2. Separate this. Therefore z1 upon z2 is equals to 5 by 2 minus 1 upon 2i. And this is the division of the two complex number. मग त्यासाठी काय करणार की डिनोमिनेटरला जो नंबर असेल त्याच्या कॉन्जुगेटने एन एंड डी ला मल्टिप्लाय करायचं न्यूमरेटरला आणि डिनोमिनेटरला अँड इव्हॅल्युएट इट. नाउ द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ डिव्हिजन. व्हॉट अबाउट हियर 1 अपॉन I multiplied n and d by I, then 1 into I into I square means what? Minus 1, and overall you are getting the minus I. 1 upon a plus ib, again multiplied n and d by, that is here 1 upon a plus ib, that is equals to याच्या कॉन्जुगेटने जर आपण मल्टिप्लाइड केला a minus ib upon multiplied n and d by a minus ib. Here a plus ib is multiplied with a minus ib. Okay, and hence you are getting a minus ib and it is divided by, what about here, a plus ib minus a into ib, that is nothing but again a square plus b square, again a minus b into a plus b into a minus b, a square minus b square, and I square is minus 1, that minus minus that will become plus, and hence you are getting a square plus b square. Okay, and hence 1 upon a plus ib is nothing but a minus ib upon a square plus b square. Okay, आता ही सर्व preliminary information होती about the complex number. Now we'll start with short example. Okay, short examples देखील important असतात. First example, write in bracket 1 plus 2i into 1 plus 3i into 2 plus I bracket is to minus 1 in the form a plus ib. Okay, now the solution 1 plus 2i, 1 plus in second bracket 1 plus 3i, in third bracket 2 plus I bracket is to minus 1. त्याची power minus 1 आहे, तो डिनोमिनेटर आल्यानंतर तो कसा झाला प्लस झाला, and here the multiplication of these two brackets upon 2 plus I. Simple multiplication, 1 plus 1, you are getting 1. 1 into 3i, here is a 3i. Next, 2i into 1, 2i. 2i into 3i, that is a 6i square. I square is minus 1. Okay, minus 6 plus 1, you are getting minus 5. Okay, how can this 6i square? I square is minus 1. Minus 6 plus 1, minus 5. 3i plus 2i, you are getting 5i. And the denominator 2 plus I. पुन्हा आता हे डिव्हिजन आहे, म्हणजे सॉल्व करायचं आपल्याला. मल्टिप्लाइड द कॉन्जुगेट पार्ट ऑफ 2 plus I. What is the conjugate? 2 minus I multiplied to the numerator multiplied with the denominator. Next multiplication. Minus 5 plus 5i into 2 minus I. Here multiplication. Minus 5 into 2 minus 10. Minus 5 into minus I. That minus minus will become plus. Plus 5i. 5i into 2, then you are getting 10i. 5i into minus I, that is a minus 5i square. Next, this is a plus b, a minus b. It's a direct answer is again a square plus b square. Means what? 4 minus I square. But I square is minus 1. Minus minus that will become plus. 4 plus 1. Next, आता इथे बघा, I square is minus 1. Okay. And this minus 5 into minus 1, that will become plus 5. Minus 10 plus 5, you are getting minus 5. 5i plus 10i, 15i. Next, 4 plus 1, 5 minus 5 plus 59 upon 5. Divide this with 5 minus 5 upon 5. You are getting minus 1. 59 upon 5. You are getting 3i. And in this way, this number is written in the form a plus ib, where the a plus ib is nothing but minus 1 plus 3i. Now the next example. Now write this complex number, that is 1 upon I plus 2 upon I square plus 3 upon I raised to 3 plus 5 upon I raised to 4 in the form a plus ib. We know that I square is minus 1, I cube is minus I raised to 4 is 1. Okay, 1 upon I, okay, it has 1 upon I. 2 upon I square is minus 1, it is minus 1 linear. 3 upon I cube, but what is I cube? I cube is minus I, and 5 upon I raised to 4 is 1. Okay, now the next is, this is the 1 upon I. 3 upon minus I is nothing but the minus 3 upon I. Next is 2 upon minus 1. This is a minus 2 plus 5. Minus 2 plus 5. This is the 3. Next, minus 2 upon I plus 3. And this is nothing but the 2i. How it is 2i? Minus 2 upon I. Multiplied n and d by this I. And then you are getting minus 2i upon I square. I square is minus 1. And that minus and minus, okay, minus 2i upon minus 1, and here you are getting plus 2i. This is the plus 2i, therefore 2i plus 3, and hence a plus ib is nothing but 3 plus 2i. आणि तुम्ही या एक्सप्रेशन मध्ये त्या सर्व व्हॅल्यूज इथे लिहू शकता. I had solved that example here. Okay, that is in the form a plus ib is a 3 plus 2i. Now the next example. If a and b are real and I raised to 4 in bracket I raised to 4 plus 3i bracket complete into a plus in bracket I minus 1 into b bracket complete into b plus 5 I raised to 3, and that's equals to 0. Then find the a and b. See this here. In bracket I raised to 4 plus 3i bracket complete into a plus in bracket I minus 1 bracket complete into b plus 5 I raised to 3 is equals to, this 0 can be written as, the 0 complex number can be written as 0 plus 0i. Okay, आता हे simplify करणार. What about the I raised to 4 means what? It is 1. Next 3i bracket complete into a, I minus 1 into b, I raised to 3 means what? Minus I. Therefore 5 minus 5i, that's equals to 0 plus 0i. Next simplification, a into 1, this is a into 3i, 3ai, b into I, that is you are getting the bi, b into minus 1, minus b, and here is a minus 5i. Now collect the terms of real part. A are real, b is real. Therefore in bracket you are getting a minus b. What about the imaginary part? 3ai. This is the imaginary, imaginary, and imaginary. From all these three terms, take I as a common. Then you are getting 3a. Okay. Next is a b. Okay. bi and the minus 5. Take I as common. 3a plus b minus 5. Bracket complete into I. That's equals to 0 plus 0i. Now equality of complex number. Real part ka a minus b. Here real part is 0. Therefore, you are getting a minus b is equals to 0. What about the next imaginary part? 3a plus b minus 5. Again, that's equals to 0. 3a plus b minus 5 is equals to 0. Means what? 3a plus b is equals to 5. A minus b is equals to 0. Means what? A is equals to b. Now here a is equals to b. Now substitute in this expression this b as a. Therefore, 3a plus a is equals to 5. 3a plus a, 4a is equals to 5, and hence a is equals to 5 by 4. And hence, as a is 5 by 4 and a and b both are equal, and hence a is equals to b is equals to 5 by 4. Okay, see this here. सर्व सॉल्ड एक्झाम्पल्स देखील इम्पॉर्टंट असतात. ओके, नाव दी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. If x plus 2i plus 15i raised to 6 into y is equals to 7x plus I raised to 3 in bracket y plus 4, then find the value of x plus y given that x and y belongs to set of real number. Now first, x plus 2i plus 15i raised to 6 into y is equals to 7x I raised to plus in bracket I raised to 3 in bracket y plus 4. Now what about the value of I raised to 6? I raised to 6 means what? I raised to 4 into I square. I raised to 4 is 1 I into I square. 1 into I square. Okay. It's a I square and I square is a minus 1. I cube is minus I. Just I had evaluated it. म्हणून इथे व्हॅल्यू सबस्टिट्यूट करणार. Keep x as it is. 2i is as it is. I raised to 6 is minus 1. Therefore, म्हणजे इथे किती होणार? Minus 15y. 7x. I cube is minus I. Therefore, is a minus I into y plus 4. Okay. Normal multiplication here. That is a x minus 15y plus 2i. Okay. Real part घेतला, नंतर imaginary part. From this side, the real part, imaginary part. Equate real and imaginary. X minus 15y is equals to 7x. X minus 15y is equals to 7x. Next, 2 is equals to minus in bracket y plus 4. Okay. आणि हे simplify करणार. That is a 2 is equals to minus y minus 4. आता evaluate. हा minus y इकडे आणला. That will become plus. Next, minus 4 and minus 2, and that's equals to minus 6. Therefore, y is equals to minus 6. This is the first one. Next, minus 6x minus 15y. Substitute the value of. आता हे देखील आपण evaluate करणार. What is here? Minus 6x and minus 15y is equals to 0. The value of y is minus 6. Okay. Minus 6x minus 15 into in bracket minus 6 and that's equals to 0. And hence minus 6x plus here is a 90 and that's equals to 0. And therefore 6x is equals to 90 and hence x is equals to 15. That is a 90 upon 6. You are getting here 15 if you evaluate it. Okay. First of all, find out the value of the y and substitute the value of y in this expression. Evaluate it. You are getting x is equals to 15. What you want to find out? You want to find out x plus y ची value तुम्हाला find out करायची. Therefore, x plus y. X is 15, y is minus 6. 15 minus 6 is 9 and hence this is the value. Next, show that in bracket root 3 upon 2 plus I upon 2 bracket is to 3 and that's nothing but the I. Okay. It expansion करना. What is that expansion? A plus B bracket cube. Denominator la same term है. Therefore, it can be written as root 3 plus I upon 2 bracket raised to 3. 2 raised to 3. Here is a 2 raised to 3. Denominator la is 8. What about here? Root 3 plus I. Expand this. Root 3. That is a cube plus 3a square into b plus 3ab square plus b cube. Root 3 cube. Here is a root 3 cube. Root 3 cube means what? Here is a root 3 bracket cube. Means what? Root 3 into root 3 into root 3. Root 3 into root 3. That is a 3 root 3. Here is a 3 root 3. 3 root 3 square I. Root 3 square means what? 3. 3 into 3, 9i. Next, 3 root 3 I square. But what about the I square? I square is a minus 1. And overall, you are getting minus 3 root 3. What about the I cube? I cube is a minus I. And here is a minus I. 9i minus I. You are getting the 8i. Plus 3 root 3 minus root 3 get cancelled. And you are getting 8i upon 8 and that is nothing but the I and hence it is a proof. Okay. In this way, I had completed the basic part before the exercise 1.1, all these odd examples. Now my next lecture will be on exercise 1.1. Okay, now we'll see in the next video. Till then, goodbye.